One thing you do need to avoid is Everyone does it, but if you'll notice, you're watching this university, I'm not reading off a teleprompter. I'm doing everything off the top of my head, and I very, very rarely start stuttering or saying, I've trained it out of my brain. But you start slowly. You talk slowly, you breathe, you make sure you don't make any and then you get better at it, and then you can be as quick as me. Now I talk very, very fast without mistakes, without gaps. And will lose you a deal. Oh, so explain to me how the flux capacitor works. Okay, so you just lost it. You just lost the deal right there. And 99% of people will do exactly that. Even people who are good, even experienced people. Okay, so why? How does the flux capacitor work? I'm going to tell you exactly how the flux capacitor works. Here's how it works. Look at this. I just got the deal. You didn't. All I did was repeat his question. You're saying, so you have time to think. I'm repeating the question, so I have time to think. Tell me how the flux capacitor works. Okay, or tell me how the flux capacitor works. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell you exactly how the flux capacitor works. All I did was repeat his question. It's not complicated. There's tips and tricks so you learn how to speak without sounding like a moron. If someone uhs and ahs in a presentation with me, I won't buy from them because I don't like that shit. I don't speak that way. Learn how to not speak that way. If you're watching this and you want to learn what I know about how to talk, get the body language course. It will teach you. I gave you one little trick there, but there's a bunch more. Next, everything will go wrong all the time. Everything will go wrong all the time. That's why you need to have a high stress tolerance. And that's also why you need rule number 1. Your best weapon against things going wrong is rule number 1, speed. Speed defies gravity. If you get water in a bucket and you spin it around really fast, the water doesn't come out the bucket. As soon as you slow down, it falls out. Speed is that powerful. You have to be able to work quickly. You need people around you who work quickly. You need teams which react to things quickly. Everything will go wrong all the time. The faster you can plug the hole and fix things, the faster you're going to be back online making money. So anticipate things going wrong. High stress tolerance. And speed is the remedy to all your issues. No matter what the issue is, no matter what the ailment, you need to do things quickly to get it fixed.
Everyone I talk to is such a fucking winner that when I sit around, all I can do is accidentally win.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit, bam, more money. Like all you can do is win when you're around winners.
It's true.
It's all you can do. So you have to be very, very selective, and you have to very, very carefully curate your reality. And that's why I created the War Room, because it's a global network, but you have to be global and you have to be online nowadays, because if you're a normal dude living a normal life, you're never going to meet winners in day-to-day life.
Yeah.
Because they're all slaves.
Yeah.
So you have to find that guy in Singapore who's a winner, those 2 guys in Dubai who's a winner, one in London. Like it's hard now.
Yeah.
It's getting harder and harder. But yeah, I don't tolerate negativity around me.
Impacting men on every level. Show some love. Like and subscribe.
Smiling is effective, but it's only effective if it's used selectively. People tell me, Tate, you never smile. That's not true. I do smile. I smile selectively. My smile has a value. If you guys are watching this, I'm trusting you've seen the people. How do you give your attention a value? By making it rare. Why is gold valuable? Because it's scarce. My smile has a value because I rarely smile. If you walk through life, 1, you look a fucking moron, 1, and 2, who gives a fuck if you're smiling or not? If I smile, my smile has value, has weight, has currency. I've had my girl, I've been 6 years. She'll message me, I made you smile today. She's happy that she made me smile because it's hard to do. There's achievement in it. Oh my God, I made him smile. He woke up and I'd already cooked dinner, and he woke up and I'd cooked him breakfast and I had coffee in his favorite mug and I brought it to him and I told him I loved him and he smiled a little bit. She got her reward, which is my smile. If she woke up and I was always, hey baby, hey, what the fuck, you don't give a fuck if I smile or not. I smile when it's deserved. And you're a fucking full-grown man. You should be walking through life smiling. You need to smile at people when something of merit happens. I'm not saying come across as a miserable fuck. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying sit there looking like you're gonna fucking kill yourself. You're not Eeyore. I'm saying you need to smile selectively. Once again, you need to adapt your own body language style. You need to decide when you're going to use your smile and when you're not. Don't say trying to hold it in. I'm saying you've probably learned to smile instinctively. You're smiling at things that don't really make you smile, and you're smiling at things that you don't find funny to be polite. But let me tell you what smiling is. Smiling is a sign of submission. Look at apes, our closest relative. Apes smile to submit. When the alpha appears, the beta males, they show their teeth. They go, it's like, don't hurt me. This is important, this is natural, you can study this today. Google, YouTube, right now. They show their teeth in a sign of submission. That's what smiling is. If you're going through life and every person you meet, you're like, hey, 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 hey. You're basically saying to the world, no one hurt me. Please, please, I'm a nice guy. How are you? Fine. You? Yeah, good, yeah. Does Trump smile at every motherfucker he sees? No! It's Trump! Fucking, yeah, alright, okay, yeah. Fucking then someone who actually, like a real G turns up, someone who's done a fantastic job that week, he'll give him a little bit of a smile, he'll go, smile, and they'll go, why does Trump smile matter? Because he doesn't walk through life looking like a fucking happy clown. And neither should you. Your smile is a selective tool. It must be rare, it must be used effectively. You smile at a girl, she needs to fucking deserve that shit. You smile at a guy, he needs to deserve that shit. You can walk through like fucking smiling. Life's not all about just being as happy as possible. This is the bullshit the media is trying to sell you. They're purporting this idea. If you're happy, smile, be nice. Everyone who's happy all the time, smiling all the time, nice all the time is a fucking loser. You know it and I know it. So you don't want to be that guy. You haven't got to be fucking smiling. Use your smile selectively. I use my smile selectively, especially in dates with girls. If I'm sitting there, it's a little bit frosty, whatever. I don't allow awkward silences because I'm too efficient for those things. I've got a PhD degree. But if we're talking and the talk's just very general, I'm very neutral. I'm like this. Oh yeah, blah, 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 blah. When she starts to flirt with me a little bit, or if she starts to be a little bit more open, or I know for sure she's... Then I might smile a little bit. I'll be like, bitch, you crazy. I'll smile. She'll say something and I'll smile before I answer. Say, oh, I didn't expect you to be like this. I thought you'd be more arrogant. I'll be like, why? I'll smile. But if she says that at the beginning, I didn't expect you to be this. I expect you to be more arrogant. I'll be like, why? I'm very different. I decide to smile when she's receptive to me. You're receptive to me and you're going to fucking do what I want. You can have a smile in return. Smile is a weapon. Like your attention is a weapon. Like everything you have is a weapon. You're a walking bag of weapons. So most of you men don't understand. Your attention has a value. Your smile has a value. You replying to someone, it all has value. And you guys are just running through life throwing it away. Every single chick giving them attention for no reason, even though they don't messaging girls all the time, friend zoning yourself, smiling at everyone, just throwing your weapons away. Then how the fuck are you going to do something exclusive? How do you show me I've made you happy if you're already smiling at every dickhead you've ever met? It's stupid. Now you don't have to come across as a horrible person. I don't smile often at all. But let's say I'm in the store and I'm buying something and the guy goes, I say, yeah, this much. I'm like, thank you, thanks. I'll nod a lot. If I'm walking past a security guard, he looks at me, I won't smile, I'll nod. A nod is you and I both know who the bad men in the room are. All the big men know the big men nod. All the big men know. If you're not a big man and you're watching this show, what's he talking about? If you're a big guy right now, you know. When big men walk in the club and there's another big man in the club, you instantly, human instinct, you catch eyes like, okay, he's the only person in this club who can match me physically. If there's going to be a fight, it's the only guy I have to worry about. And you always link eyes. And you always kind of do this thing. This like, yeah, all right, cool. We've clocked each other. We've decided we're cool. It's done. The big man, it's a thing. Big men know. But a nod is far more effective than a smile. You want to be polite, nod at somebody. Yeah, thank you. Cheers, thanks. Bye. Thanks. What the fuck you happy about? You just bought fucking skills. You happy over skills? Little bitch. You're full-grown man. Fucking smiling over skills. Fuck's wrong with you? If I have to tell you to give a firm handshake, then I don't know what the fuck you're doing here, because you should know that already. If I have to tell you that fidgeting makes you appear bored, you should know that already. If you want to look bored, this is obvious shit. You know this one. If you're sitting with a girl and she crosses her legs, she's basically saying you're going nowhere. That's like an anti-rape fucking instant reaction. You know how to read these things. You know these things because you know how to read them instinctively. If you sit with a girl and she does this, and she does this, you know you ain't bad. You know it and I know it. All those pickup artist dudes, they teach what they call keynotes. Fucking gay shit. I hate pickup artists. I hate pickup artists because I know I'm the baddest, I'm the best. So it annoys me. There's all these guys, Red Pill, Mr. Lucario, Bad Boy the Dating Game, all these dudes, and every time I see the girls they're fucking, I'm like, what the fuck is this, bro? These guys are fucking girls. I wouldn't even fuck. I wouldn't even touch their girls, and they're bragging about them like, yeah, I went out and I gamed this chick. She's a fucking 5. Your 9 is my 5. You call her a 9? She's a fucking 5. My girls look like fucking Playboy bunnies. My girls got 2 million followers on Insta. My girls have billionaire exes. My girls are actually hot. Your girls are basic. I hate pickup artists. Anyway, they're all fucking idiots. All of them. None of them are good with me. But they talk about this keynote thing where you need to do some touching on the girl. And I agree that I do that myself. That can help. I have two things I do. One is when I first meet, it depends. I don't really do the hug and kiss thing when I first meet a girl. I don't really do that unless I know her quite well. But once we're talking shit, one of the things I get to do is I say I'm a kickboxer. Like, oh, you're a kickboxer? I say, yeah, I'm going to teach you. I'm going to train you. I'm going to make you a little ninja because you're beautiful and no one's going to expect you to kill me. And I give that compliment there. They're like, oh, like, yeah, you're going to work for me. So go, really? Who do I have to kill? I say, well, are you strong enough? And they'll always go, yeah. I say, go, let me see. And then they'll tense their shit muscles of work to do. That's how I first do the Kino break the ice, touch them thing. I do the feeling their arms thing. But that only works because I have huge arms. If I did that and she looked at my skinny ass arms back and goes, well, where's your fucking muscle? Well, it doesn't work. That does it. So you have to choose your own style. Well, yeah, if they're all crossing up and they don't want you to touch them, whatever, then that's obviously a bad sign. You know these things already. I don't have to tell you super fucking obvious stuff. If you've watched it to this point and you haven't taken any notes, I doubt it. I've definitely told you some shit you probably don't know yet. Especially changing it from angry to calm. I know none of you fuckers do that, because I've never seen anyone else pull it off on me. Eyes. Eye contact. A lot of you are very unaware where you're looking, especially when you're talking to somebody. I look in people's eyes. I do that very, very specifically. Not in a creepy way. I don't want none of you fuckers to take my videos. Sometimes I say things which are so nuanced, and I'm worried that people are going to be like, okay, Tate said this, so I have to do this. And you're going to go sit there with a girl and be like, hi. This is a fucking psycho. You have to keep things into perspective. Especially if you want to drive a point home. You look in someone's eyes. Like I said before, the biggest theme behind this spoken language course is the ability to change your language. It's the change of language that people perceive more than the language itself. So if I'm talking to a girl and I'm like, blah, 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 it doesn't matter what I say. Let me think of a sentence. It doesn't matter what I'm saying. But when I want to drive the point home, only then will I look in her eyes. Yeah, actually, I'm really glad I met you because you are beautiful. I'll say the beautiful part and look in her eyes. Before I say that, I'm looking away. And that's what makes it more effective. It's more effective because I've gone from looking away to looking at her. If I just looked at her and said, I'm glad I met you because I really think you're beautiful. It's not, for me, it's far more effective for me to say, yeah, well, I'm glad I met you because I really think you're beautiful. I'll look away and then I'll look at them when I say something I mean. And that change in body language is what they perceive, and that makes you far more convincing. You see where I'm coming from? Don't tell a girl she's beautiful, well, make sure you're not looking at her and then look her in the eyes directly as you say it like a fucking man. Eye contact. Eye contact needs to be used as punctuation. This is punctuation. Everything's punctuation, make them understand a point. That's how your eye contact should be used. I'm not saying you have to lock eyes with every motherfucker you meet, but it needs to be used as punctuation. Same with men. Blah, 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 blah. Dude, get the fuck away from me. Get the fuck away from me. When I look in his eyes, it's when I mean it. When you're saying it, you're not looking in his eyes, you don't mean it. Say I look in his eyes, I mean it. And if you guys watch any of my other videos, you understand how important it is to never say something you don't mean. If you've not watched my video on Tate speech, it's completely free. Tricks on depression. It's about 25 minutes long. Watch that. And I talk about how important it is to say what you mean and mean what you say. Don't tell somebody you're going to knock them out and you're going to do it. Don't be one of those people who walk through the earth talking shit. Unless they look, bro, you go down my face. I'm going to knock you the fuck out. The first time I look in his eyes, I say I'm going to knock him out. You know, it's the first time I've looked at him. He knows I'm going to mean it. That's how eye contact should be used. Power poses is a thing. I had a lot of people send me lots of emails about this course asking me questions. So I got asked about power poses. They say, like, if you sit there and you do the Superman pose, you start to get more, you naturally release more testosterone, you start to feel stronger. I believe that's true. I do think that works. That is definitely a thing. You know, that's certainly a thing. Do I walk through life with the Superman pose? No. Should you? No. What the fuck? When you look in the mirror, you look in the mirror like, yeah, I'm the fucking man. Yeah, you need to do that. Of course. But that's more here than a power pose. So I'm only answering this thing now, because I know some motherfuckers are going to come back. Well, what about my power pose? If you want to walk through life doing this and it makes you feel a little bit stronger, go for it. How about you just get strong as fuck anyway and you ain't got to worry about walking around looking like a fucking superhero, like a dork. So that's that shit. I've told you a lot about being domineering and conquering. However, a lot of you guys will know one of the 48 rules of power is never to outshine the master. So a lot of you may have a boss and you can't act that way because it's going to piss your boss off too much if you're too overpowering. I managed to be overpowering in my sales meetings because I was such a fucking fantastic salesman. The boss wouldn't say shit to me because I made him so much fucking money. But if you're middle of the road or something, you can't come across that way. You're going to annoy people too much if you haven't got the results to back it up. So one of the key things you can do if you want to make people like you, two things you want to make people like you. One's a body language trick, one's not. One is, if you want to make people like you, ask them lots of questions. Because everyone loves to talk about themselves. If I'm meeting someone extremely important, which happens all the fucking time, from Trump Jr. to anyone else, and I think, okay, I need this person to like me. I don't sit there and try and impress them. I don't sit there and go, okay, Andrew Tate, son of a chess grandmaster, genius IQ, 4-time kickboxing world champion, I've got lots of girls, lots of pussy and money and a Lambo. They don't care. Nobody cares. I sit there and go, yeah, okay, it's really good to meet you. Yeah, I've always been interested in ask them things. Because if you ask people questions, then they have to talk, they have to answer them. And they have to answer them by talking about themselves. And everyone loves themselves. So if you sit there with someone and they only talk about themselves for an hour, they're going to love the conversation. Yeah, it was really good to talk to you because I got to brag for an hour. This is especially effective with women. Women love this shit. If you sit there and try and make a woman impress her, I'm this, I'm that, blah, blah, nah. Sit there and go, you're different than I expect. So what do? I'm a hairdresser. Hairdresser. Don't you get bored of like talking to people all the time? Well, no, actually, I don't mind because some of the people are really nice and some of the people are my best customers. Oh, really? Okay, yeah. Well, I don't even go to a hairdresser, as you can tell. I'm already beautiful. So how long have you been a hairdresser for? Oh, I've been a hairdresser for this long. I went to college and da-da-da. Add in little bits of your own dialogue. But basically, just ask them questions. I took one guy on pickup coaching. I don't normally do this, but I had one guy who paid me money to go out with him for a weekend and pick up girls. And he said to me, oh, I'm really nervous. I was like, bro, ask them questions. Say hello. Here's how you introduce yourself. Here's how you say hello. Ask them questions. And if you do that, you're 75% there. Because they're just going to talk about themselves. It doesn't matter what they reply. Who gives a fuck? You're a hairdresser. You're a nurse. You're a stripper. It's all the same shit. Who cares? Oh, really? That's interesting. Same answer to them all. Ask them. Let them talk shit about themselves. This is super effective to make people like you. Super effective. Because everyone loves talking about themselves. So keep that in mind. And then the body language trick is to really look like you're listening. Most people don't look like they're listening. If I want someone to like me, I really look like I'm listening. So if I need a boss to like me or a girl to like me, I'll make sure it's clear I'm paying attention. So if you've ever been in like a group of people and there's one girl you want to fuck and everyone's kind of talking amongst themselves, but when that girl's talking, people are half listening. But when that girl's talking, not nuance. Don't look like a fucking creep, but make it clear you're listening. If other people are all talking to you and she starts talking to you, go, okay, yeah, look at her. I'm listening to you. Because then, oh, he thinks I'm important. He thinks what I say matters. And the boss is the same. He listens. He thinks I'm important. He thinks what I say matters. In a corporate situation, what I used to do, I used to do this all the time. Bosses love this shit. I used to walk around with a little notepad. So if I got called to the boss's office, I'd go in there with a notepad and pen and sit there. And when they were talking to me, I'd just randomly write things down. And a few of them said, why you got that? She said, I don't want to miss any key points. And they sit there and go, but they like that shit. I'm talking, and he's writing it down to not miss my key points. Yeah, well, Mr. Andrew, you are the best salesman. You have sold 3 times more than everybody else, but I'm a greedy CEO cunt, so I want you to sell more. So I was just wondering if you could possibly do this, or if you try doing this, because you're my cash cow and I want to milk you for all you're worth. Yeah, you're right. I did try that, actually. I did try that, but I'm gonna find the email. I'm gonna send it to you. Okay, yeah? You sit there and I'm listening to you, sir. What you have to say matters. I'm writing it down. They're gonna fucking love you. They're gonna love you. They're like, who the fuck this guy? And then they call the fucking jackass salesman in. Hi, where's your sales? Yeah, I've tried. That's how you be liked. Make it clear you listen to people. Most of you don't make it clear you're listening to someone. Make it clear you are listening to them. The notepad and pen example is fantastic with a boss. They fucking love that. They're sitting there going, this dude is fucking takes his shit seriously. Because a boss hires you to make them money. They're always going to pay you less than they make out of you. Otherwise, they wouldn't have a business. So if you're sitting there taking them seriously, you're taking their money seriously. Wouldn't you love it if you had someone who came into your house with a pen and paper and goes, how can I make you more money? Tell me what to do. I fucking like this guy. Who wouldn't? So you just make it clear you're listening to people. And ask lots of questions all the time. Especially, once again, with the boss, they love to ask questions. So even if I knew the correct answer, I'd ask them a question. So I'd say something like, I have my pen and my paper, I'm sitting there. I'm almost tempted to get a job again because it was so easy. I never failed a job interview, ever. I'd go for jobs that required a degree, and I didn't even have a degree. I just walk in there. Go, so Mr. Tate, your degree? I haven't got a degree. Didn't need one. I didn't need one because I'm the best. I'm prepared to prove I'm the best. I'll work for a week for free, and I guarantee within 6 months I'm going to smash any sales target you set me. I don't have time to go to university and sit there for 4 years. I'm here to get paid. I'm here to get you rich. I'm here to make me rich. I'm the best there's ever been. Listen, I go, what the fuck is this dude? Well, he's going to work for free, so at least try him out. I never failed a job interview. Ever. Ever, ever. I got every fucking job. Tempted to go back because it was so fun. I'd sit there with my pen and paper and I'd ask him questions knowing the answers already. I'd be like, okay, sir, well, I've been trying 2 different types of proposal emails. One of them is getting about 20% more responses than the other, so it's the one I think is the best. But I want to send both to you, so if you have time, I know you're busy, if you could just read them and just confirm that's the process I should be going, that's the path I should be going down. That's the process of the emails I'm going to be sending. He'd be like, okay, yeah, send them across to me. As if he's going to say no, the other one, where it's not as effective. Of course he's going to choose the effective one. If he's a clever cat, which he probably is because he's a CEO, he's going to come back with the odd amendment to try and make it look like he knows something. So come back and go, yeah, that's really good. That's good, Andrew. Try and add this and this, and I think you'll be about there. And I'll pretend I didn't think of that. Good idea. I didn't think of that. I'm going to add it right away. We'll update you shortly. I'll pretend I didn't fucking know and pretend that it's important even though it doesn't matter. He'll think he tricked me. Andrew, he's a fucking smart fucker, but I'm still the smartest. I'm the boss. Bam! That's how they like you. Then when you walk in there and go, excuse me, sir, I've been working really, really hard for you, and I do my very, very best for this company, this corporation. I respect you absolutely, but I'm unfortunately in a situation where I need to get paid more money. What's it going to be? That's what I used to do. I used to smash sales records, and they were sitting there like, this Tate guy's going to make the company rich. I'd walk in there 3 months later and say, unfortunately, I'm in a situation where I need more money. Not, could you please consider, not no. Unfortunately, I'm in a situation where I need more money. And their answer would be, okay, well, we have a quarterly review coming up, and we need to make sure your sales stay on track. They try and delay it. I'd say, okay, I'll wait for the quarterly review, no problem. I'm very, very excited about smashing records. I'm no longer interested in sales targets. I'm interested in beating the company's sales records. I know they're already mine, but I'm going to beat them again. I'd say that. And the reason I say all that, knowing that the quarterly review is 2-3 weeks away, is because basically I've said, you better give me a pay rise in that review, or I'm leaving. And the CEO is sitting there and go, fuck this fucker. I can't let him go. He's the best we got. I have to put his money out. And when the quarterly review comes, say, oh yeah, hi sir, obviously I've been doing fantastic. Sometimes I had a couple of them try it. Unfortunately, we're not going to increase your pay at this time. I'd say, okay, no problem. I appreciate that. I just want to make it clear with you. I'm going to do my utmost. I'm going to continue doing my job effectively. I believe that we're going to do something, I'm going to do it properly. But I am in a position where I, unfortunately, do require more money. So I'm going to start looking for another term of employment. I'm going to leave then. Every time I got an email within 2 days, some fucking offer. Even if I didn't need the money, take the money. What the fuck? Even if it's only a little bit of money, who cares? Take it. Thanks. It's a principle thing. You're gonna fucking reward me, motherfucker. What I deserve. I got a company car that exact same way. Came and sat down and I said, excuse me, sir, unfortunately I'm in a position where I can no longer use my own personal vehicle. He said, we don't do company cars. I said, I understand that. And I know you're paying me 20 cents per mile. But the car I have is putting damage on the car. Also, my brother needs to use the car. I am a very good salesman. I intend to continue to sell effectively. I guarantee I will continue to break every single company record, but I can no longer do it in my vehicle. I need to be provided with a vehicle, or I can no longer work with this company. Boom! Give me a car. Most of you fuckers are afraid to say shit. Walk in there. Give me a car. What car? Literally, me and my brother were sitting in our apartment one day. He said, oh, I need the car tomorrow. I was like, I gotta go to a meeting. And I thought, oh, fuck this. They can give me a fucking car. Next day, had a car. We don't do company cars. Yeah, you do renting a fucking car because your number one salesman makes you all your money fucking said so. I guarantee you do that, don't you? Went down to Hertz and picked me up a fucking nice car. Of course you did. BMW's 3 Series. Thanks. Let's go coffee all over the fucking seats. Ain't mine. I don't give a fuck. So you gotta be. Mean your shit. But with CEOs, sometimes you have to pretend you're listening, but pretend you're listening to people. They like that shit. Give you a little notepad. Get your shit together. This can also work with women. Sometimes when one of my girlfriends, I say one of, because all you real G's know how else real G's live. They're like, oh, I've really got a problem, I need your time, they're complaining to me. I say, look, listen, I'm busy right now. But I'm going to come around later, and I'm going to sort it out. If I say, okay, tell me what's the matter, and I have to say, no, I'm going to come around later and sort it out. I turn up later, okay, you have all my attention, what's the problem? Blah, 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 blah. Okay, alright, okay, I'm going to do something about it. Yeah, but do what? Listen, I'm a fucking man, I know what to do. Just shh. Then you do nothing, and then they forget about it because they're weird. Just giving someone your undivided attention in a short burst can be extremely effective. Extremely effective. Leaning forward implies you're paying attention. Keep that in mind. As opposed to leaning back, we've already discussed this already. I've got a long list of questions from you motherfuckers. Leaning forward implies you're paying attention. Someone goes, how do I make it clear that I'm paying attention to them? We'll make it clear you're listening to them. Just discussed all this, but also lean forward. You can lean forward sometimes. Yes, tell me. It matters so much. I don't actually recommend this for women, but it's something. Also, we're talking about women. There's a lot of body language with pictures of women that people talk about. Like, don't lean in towards the girl. But we just talked about leaning in. Because leaning in shows that you're listening, shows you're attentive. If every single picture is of you leaning into your girlfriend, then it shows that basically she's in charge because you listen to her, as opposed to her leaning into you. So it is a sign of submission. For the same reason it's a sign of listening, it's a sign of submission. So keep that in mind. If you want to have a picture of you and your girl, you want to put it on Instagram, whatever. It needs to be a picture of you. I'm the man. I am the oak tree. She's hugging the oak tree. The oak tree doesn't bend over to the people who hugs it. I'm the fucking G. She enters your world. You don't enter hers. Most of you guys already know this stuff, so it's not that complicated. But yeah, it hasn't got to be conscious. The reason body language is so effective is because it's unconscious. That's why it's effective. That's why people read it, because it happens by accident. So you have to consciously alter yours, but when you're going through life, you can't be sitting there going, how do I do this, how do I do that? You've got to just start thinking about it and practice a little bit and it become natural with your hands, etc., etc. So body language for women is never appear submissive. Women don't want to fuck a man they don't respect. Women don't have to like you to fuck you. They have to respect you. Do you know how many times I've retweeted, check my Twitter, I've retweeted a girl saying, I can't stand this Tate speech guy, but something about him, I have to follow him. Or on my YouTube video, I hate you, you're such a dickhead, I almost want to meet you. Or I retweeted a girl today, I almost want to slap, I kind of want to slap him, kind of want to fuck him. And that's because they don't like me, but they respect me. So like, this fucking asshole, yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, I guess that's, they respect me. Women don't gotta like you, they gotta respect you. I fuck loads of girls who hate me. In fact, every day some girl's telling me she hates me. Every fucking day, I fucking hate you. Dick comes along and she's happy to take it. So you have to act in a way that's respected. And women don't respect men who are submissive to them. Women respect men who are in control. That's what happens. Women try to take control because it's natural for them to attempt it. And if you let them succeed, they'll just become worse and worse, down a spiral of just becoming a bigger and bigger dickhead because they're waiting for you to take control back. That's what happens. So it's the same with your body language. So if you're always leaning in and she's the boss, she's not going to be happy with those photos. She wants a photo where you look in control and basically uninterested in her. If you look at photos, I recommend go to @CobraTate. We'll put a few examples in this video, but go to @CobraTate and find pictures of me with girls. There's one of me with a cigar and a girl either side. Am I staring at the girls? Do I give a fuck they even exist? I'm having a cigar, bro. I'm busy. I'm smoking. These are just some hoes. Well, naturally. Because I don't care about the girls. So who's in control there? Me. I'm not showing them attention. The most important body language for a picture with a girl is basically to come across like, I don't give a fuck. Someone goes, you're about to take a picture with a girl. How do you come across as an alpha? You don't give a shit about the girl. Simple. You don't care about the girl. That's how you come across as an alpha. Take the picture like you take it. She wasn't even fucking there. Bang, smoking. Oh, there's a hoe there, there's a hoe there. Take life, whatever. That's one. There's another one of me with sunglasses on with two blondes on the side. And in this one, I'm smiling. Why am I smiling? I'm smiling because the one I'm looking at just agreed to get fucked with the other one. 2 seconds before that, I said, you're both staying with me tonight. She goes, oh, I don't know, I'm nervous. I said, look, we're going to go drinking. She goes, oh, maybe. And I smiled. I said, all right, good, we're going to go out. I was smiling because she agreed. Like I said earlier, positive reinforcement. I'm miserable. You said what I wanted you to say. Now I'll smile. Well, I just smiled at her because I knew she was about to be licking the other one's pussy in about 4 hours' time. That's what that one was. But in general, I'm sitting there. If I wasn't looking at her and smiling and I was looking forward, I don't give a fuck. I'm a dude who doesn't care. Women are always attracted to assholes. People go, why do girls like assholes? They don't like assholes. They like men who display overtly masculine qualities. Men who don't succumb to their wishes. Men who don't bend to their will. Men who are in charge. Men who retain control. Men who can't be influenced or complained at or nagged at. And those kind of men are assholes. It's not about the fact that he's an asshole. It's about the fact that they can't control him. It's about the fact that they're trying to take a picture with him. He doesn't give a fuck if she's there or not. And those are overtly masculine, overtly attractive qualities to a woman. Even she doesn't understand why, but that's the reality of it. So if you're sitting there going, how do I take a picture with a girl? Take a picture with a girl like she doesn't exist. I'll put up another picture here of me and my girlfriend in Thailand. The last picture of me taken. There. You've just seen it. Do I look like I give a fuck that she's there? Now I am looking at her. A lot of body language every pill guys go, don't even look at the girl. Don't look at the girl. This bad body language. Come on, you're a human. You look at things. It's not fuck. Look away all the time, you idiot. But you can tell by my body language, I don't give a fuck. Her hand's on my knee. She's smiling. I'm not. You can tell by that body language who the fucking boss is. So a lot of the red pill stuff is super specific. Like I've told you guys when I'm teaching in the PhD course, there's no such thing as an exact formula. There's no such thing as an exact specific thing. It's understanding general rules, general themes, and implementing them. That's why everything I teach is quite generalized. I'm waiting for you guys to see it, ingest it, understand it, and implement it in your own unique style. Because then it comes across as authentic. If I say, do this with your hands exactly, do this, you look like little fucking robots. No, I'm telling you to be aware of certain things. Like chess, you know the rules, and you make your own moves based on the rules to win. You have to develop your own style. But in general, the key for women is to just make it clear you don't give a shit, because women like that. And also, what's actually super beneficial is if you genuinely don't give a shit, then it's super easy. Why do you have to act like you don't give a shit if you actually don't give a shit? I actually don't care. I've been around so many chicks. That picture of me with a cigar and there's two girls hanging off me. When I was smoking a cigar, you can look carefully and you'll see my eyes looking down. I'm looking at some guy, and the guy's face was literally like his world was blown. Because he saw me with two 10s. Not these other pickup artist versions of 10s. Actual 10s. Two smoking hot, big booty, big titty, hot ass, young, 20-year-old chicks. And he was there just like, who the fuck is this guy? Mr. Cigar just walked up, and these chicks are hanging all over him. Is he a pimp? Is he famous? Who is he? He was just blown away. I didn't give a fuck. He gave. That's the difference. Don't give a shit. FDB. We talked about smiling a little bit, and we talked about smiling, we said how it's a sign of submission. Also, you guys will know on Twitter, soy face. That's a sign of submission as well. If you're not comfortable within your own skin, you see a lot of people, they take pictures and they pull stupid faces. They'll go like, or when they're with someone, they're like, all that shit is submission. All that shit is evolutionary, primate, submissional. You're just broadcasting to the world that you're a fucking loser. Don't do that. You either smile in a picture because you're happy, or you just look at the camera. Done. You're not a fucking clown, and you're not fucking 15. You're making stupid ass fucking faces. It's dumb. Don't do that. Ever. Especially not with a chick. Sometimes chicks do that. And you're next to her. I guarantee you're not fucking her if you do that shit. I've had girls do that next to me. I'm just like, looking at them like the moron they are. Because I don't give a fuck. You're fucking making stupid ass faces. Fuck off. Suck this. So don't do that shit. So if you're pulling weird faces in photographs, that's because you're insecure. And you're trying to broadcast to the world that you're a little liberal coward. And you're hoping that no one destroys you. You're hoping Big Daddy Tate doesn't come along and squash you in the palm of his awesomely huge hand. Don't be like that shit. I fucking hate that shit. I don't hang around with people who do that shit. Don't do that. Ever. I'm putting a picture of my brother now with his girl. Bang, you just saw it. That girl there is called Bianca Dragosani. She has 1 million followers, or near 1 million on Instagram. Look her up. You can Google her. She's the most famous girl in Romania. She's like, she had her own TV show. Legitimately A-list in Romania. Very rich as well. Most men would be intimidated by a famous woman who's that hot, who's rich. Tristan went up to her in a fucking petrol station. Went up to her. Started talking shit. Just the way me and him do it. Got her number. Progression. HD guys. Tower of power. Introduced himself. Blah, blah, blah. Confident. Bang, bang, bang. He didn't get her number. He got her Instagram. Messaged her there on the spot so she saw it, even amongst 1 million messages. Ended up getting her number. Anyway, he ends up fucking this chick. She's married. She's fucking married. Whole thing comes out in the papers. Me and Tristan end up A-list stars in Romania because we're the guy who fucked Bianca. I'm the brother, but he's the guy who fucked Bianca when she's married. Everything. Complete craziness. Anyway, the point of this picture is this. Most men, when they get a girl like that, they're all over her. She's famous. She's rich. She's important. She's special. Look at Tristan's body language in that picture. Does he look like he gives one fuck about that chick? He doesn't give a fuck about that hoe. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. Some hoe. How many hoes have I fucked? Who cares? You dudes are out here caring too damn much. It's garbage. Like all of my courses, what I'm going to do is I'm going to update them forever for free.
Andrew, I want to learn to speak like you do. The way you talk on podcasts is why they're so monumentally successful. I want to speak like you do. How do you practice? How often do you practice? And I tried to explain to him. I said, brother, you're 42 years old. I'm 36 years old. You've been speaking longer than me. So it's not about practice. The difference between you and I is I pay attention and I make sure that I get feedback. So if I do a podcast, I will watch it back and write down every time I made a mistake or every time I could have used a different word. I will sit there and actually analyze my work to get better.
You reflect.
I reflect. If you don't reflect and you just speak, you stay shit.
Hey, how about communication? Who'd you look at? Were you always a good communicator? I can see you being a great communicator since you were 14 years old.
I was pretty good, yeah.
Okay. Who did you look at and say, that guy's good, but I think I can, do it better?
That's a good question. And I think that...
You know what I'm asking?
I know what you're asking. I don't know if there's one particular person I took nuances from, because when you're a great communicator, you know how to be serious and you know how to make people sad and angry, and you also know how to make people laugh. There's different people who can do lots of different things.
So who was that? Was it somebody that was multifaceted like that?
I think it was a lot of different people. And I also think that...
Did you pull from comedy as well, or no?
Certainly did, but I was also extremely self-critical. I think that's where a lot of it comes from. I'll watch this podcast back 15 times. I will notice every single time I made a mistake. Just then I said I'll watch twice. That was a mistake. I will watch this back 15 times and I'll identify every single error. I have an email list and I sign up and I get words of the day. I get 5 or 6 new words a day, which I try my very best to memorize. It's harder than you think to memorize 5 words a day, but I always try to make sure I have the most interesting vernacular I can possibly have, a wide vocabulary, so I can be very specific with my points. The reason I actually did that, I keep talking about my dad, but I'm his son. I have the same name, Andrew Tate III. He was Andrew Tate II. My father was a linguist for the CIA. He spoke Russian and German and Spanish and English. And I think I've told this before. Back then, when they needed someone who spoke Russian, they would take a Native American and teach them Russian. Nowadays, we have a bunch of Russian-speaking allies. You can go to Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania. They're all NATO and just get a Russian speaker. Back then, they taught my dad Russian, and he held the Air Force record for the fastest assimilation of a foreign language. When he died, a guy sent me a message saying, you don't know who I am, but I worked with your father in the Air Force, and he had the fastest assimilation. He learned Russian in 2 weeks. Crazy. And I remember saying to my dad, will you teach me Russian? He said, boy, you don't even know English. I said, what do you mean? He goes, you don't even know English. And, and once he sat me down with a dictionary, I was like, you're right. I don't even know English. That's why I've lived in Romania 7 years. People say, why don't you speak Romanian? Because I don't know English yet. I had to finish the first job before I learned the second. I don't know English. There's a bunch of words I don't know. I can't speak how he spoke, so I don't have time for a second language.
Yeah.
Also, another thing I found really interesting, Putin speaks English. Have you ever heard him speak English? No. Because if you want to speak to Putin, you speak to him in his language. You speak to me in Russian. And I reply to you in Russian to you. I cannot be misunderstood or misconstrued. I don't make a fool of myself. You can't get me on some vernacular trick. I speak my language, and I also prefer that also. I speak English, that's what I speak. If you want to speak to me, you speak to me in my language, so I will win the debate always.
Who'd you look up to outside of your dad?
I look up to lots of people.
I'm talking specifically younger age, not today. I'm talking 16, 20, 25, that age. Not today.
It's a good question. Because I always believed in trying to take the best parts of individual people and then amalgamate them. And I know you want a name, and I can't think of one off the top of my head, but I would look at people who I didn't even respect, but they'd have one particular thing about them. I thought, that's good. It could be somebody I didn't even like, but he dressed well. I think you just have to be perspicacious and look at people, and there's something you can learn from absolutely everybody, and just try and adapt it all. I'm not saying everybody should be clones of me. For everyone's individual, right? But there might be some things about me they find inspiring that they may adapt and take on board, and then they'll find some things from other people. But learning to speak is something I understood from a very young age how important that would be. That's a superpower.
Okay, so let me go back to the question I was asking, where I'm trying to go with this. So I asked the question, I said, imagine the 20-year-old that's watching this, that's saying, no, Tate, don't give me the answer for anybody can create, contribute to society. I'm not that guy. Talk to me like I'm 1 in a million. Talk to me like I'm one in. So if I'm willing to give 20 years, 30 years of my life to one way to go up to make true positive impact in America, my country, in the world, what should, don't talk to me like everybody else. What the standards, what should I do? What angle should I do?
Okay, so first things first, you need to be worthy of respect. And you're going to be worthy of respect through having things which are difficult to acquire. So first things first, the basic things, you need to be very focused on trying to make money, because people listen to you when you have money. They just do. Secondly, you need to be in fantastic physical condition, because when you're in fantastic physical condition, it cannot be bought. It must be earned, and people know that. When you're in, I don't know about you, if someone walked in to sell me something and they were obese, I would not trust them the same as if they were in fantastic physical shape. Because I'd say, I don't think you have dedication and heart. I don't think there's something about you that I just wouldn't trust you the same. So fantastic physical condition and money is the first thing. The second thing, whatever your ideas are, you need to learn how to communicate them. Speaking is a superpower in and of itself. You need to become a fantastic communicator. You need to be comfortable in all realms of communication. You need to be persuasive. You need to be comfortable arguing. You need to be good at debating. There's a lot of people out there in the world who have ideas that they can't even project into somebody else's mind. How are you gonna rule the world with that? How are you gonna get your ideas out there and make an influence if you can't make other people understand exactly what you think? That's the first thing. Second thing, once they understand exactly what you think, you need to make them agree with what you think. These are two different skills. Must be practiced and must be learned. If you're 20 years old and you want to change the world, you need to be having endless debates. Endless. Without resorting to name calling, not on Twitter like a dummy, in person. And you need to come across in a way that people agree with you. We can go back quickly and talk about the red pill. The difference between me when I talk to girls on these panel shows and every other guy when they talk to girls on these panel shows is, when I'm done, all the girls want me. Watch them. Watch the shows. I say the same thing, and by the end, the chicks are in love with me, as opposed to saying the same thing and the chicks thinking I'm a dickhead. That's the difference. I project my ideas and I make them agree with my ideas to a point where they're like texting me afterwards. I'm not saying anything different. It's how I'm communicating it. You can catch more flies with honey than hurting people sometimes. So you need to be good at everything. You need to have a Swiss Army knife of tools. I know when to be intimidating or aggressive. I know when to come across as obtuse. I know when to come across as exceptionally open-minded and easy to understand. I know when to come across as understanding. I know all these things. This all has to be practiced. And a lot of it is, communication. I would say, if you're going to say to a 20-year-old who's truly exceptional and driven, I'd say you need to become a master communicator. Because once you can do that, you can do anything. And that fixes all the other problems, right? We talk about making money. If you're a master communicator, you do fantastic in sales. You'll kill sales. You'll absolutely destroy sales if you're a master communicator. Not many people know this, but I used to sell windows. You know the old school knock on the door? Window sales. I did window sales for 2 or 3 years, and I'd say this is one of the hardest jobs you could possibly do. And I would always recommend a young man, if he has some time to waste, to go sell windows. And the reason, it's fantastic, because I'll tell you why. It's the hardest one to sell because 1, nobody wants them. 2, they don't know who you are. And 3, even if you convince them that they need windows, after them not knowing who you are, then they go to all your competitors and then it becomes a price war. It's a nightmare. It's the hardest sales job. If you're selling a Lambo, at least they want the Lambo, right? Nobody wants glass and plastic. They already have windows. So you got to find a way to sell them these windows. How do you do that? And that's where all this master communication comes in. And it's so many subtle little things. Being a good salesman is not necessarily being a liar. It's not being a trickster. It's just understanding what's going to make the person believe and understand what you say. If I walked in and said, would you like new windows? And they essentially said, no, we don't need new windows. Our windows look fine. I would say, but what about the security aspect? While looking at their 3-year-old child. And they'd sit there and go, what do you mean security aspect? And then I talk about how we had the lock 5000 and their locks are easy to break. As if glass isn't glass, it's all the same anyway. And you'd end up selling the windows. You have to find the triggers in people. There's another thing people don't understand about me and my message. Sometimes I sit here and I say things that piss people off because that's how you trigger people to make action. I have often written emails or done videos, especially to men when I want to help men, to piss them off. You're a loser. You're a dumbass. Andrew, why you mean? Because you're not going to go to the gym unless I tell you you're a fucking loser. And you are a loser, and I'm not lying to you. You are a loser. The emotional trigger you need to get up off that chair is the fact that you're not important, nobody cares who you are, any girl you're ever in love with I could take, and you're insignificant. And when you die, nobody's interested. That's your fault. You could have been something else. You did that. You failed. That has to be done. You have to be a master communicator. And sometimes that involves also insulting people. It's all a massive tapestry. But to answer your question, for the 20-year-old, he needs to become a master at communicating. But also to be a master at communicating, you also need experiences worth talking about. You have to live a life. You need a degree of wisdom. And wisdom doesn't always come with age. It comes with life lived. I had a guy message me. This is a long time ago when I used to reply to my own emails. Too big now. But he said, I don't have any stories. My life's boring. I said, bro, where do you live? He said, Madrid. I said, bro, ride the train from Madrid to St. Petersburg. Ride the train from Madrid to Vladivostok. Do the Trans-Siberian Railway. Cost you like $300. He goes, oh, but what if I get robbed? Exactly! That's exactly the point! What if you get robbed? Now you have a story. Maybe you'll die, maybe you won't. But you have a story. Don't bring your watch. Have you got a Rolex? No one wants to rob you anyway. Don't worry about it. You're a brokey. Get on the train. There has to be that degree of risk to even have a story, because when you have a story, then you can communicate the story. You can't be an empty vessel either. So when you say you're telling me how I build this 20-year-old into a super soldier, yeah, he has to be a master communicator, but he also has to do things which are risky. Risk has value intrinsically linked to it, intrinsically. This is why people, when you do risky things, people want to hear the story. Your coolest stories involve risk. Something went wrong, this could have happened, I almost this, I made it out. Without these risks, you haven't got it. So I would say to the 20-year-old, do what I did. Get in the cage. Get in the ring. Knock someone out, get knocked out, train hard. Fighting will teach you everything you need to know about life. You'll learn everything about who you truly are. You'll learn if you're a coward or not. You'll learn everything about perseverance and hard work and dedication, everything about being underappreciated. You learn everything about fear. You learn all of it. You learn everything about people. You win a fight, check your phone. Lose a fight, check your phone. You learn all about people. You learn all about them. You learn all about women. I learned so much about women through fighting. When I had a fight coming up and I was weight drained and I had barely eaten in weeks and I'd lost all this weight and I had a world title fight and I'm fighting a guy who might kill me and she's complaining about the toilet seat. I learned all about women. You learn a lot about life through these difficult processes and paths. And there used to be for men like a rite of passage. In most societies, you had to go through something to become a man, from a boy to a man. But that thing was always difficult. It's always been difficult. Now you have to self-induce it, self-inflict it. But if you're going to be a boy and never bring on that self-inflicted rite of passage, how are you going to ever become a man?
It's great feedback.
I think it's probably the least discussed superpower on earth is being able to speak well.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about it. People talk about being strong. Great. People talk about being rich. Okay, fantastic. But being able to speak correctly and properly and very well is a completely under-discussed superpower. It's the reason I refuse to learn another language. I've lived in Romania for 7 years. I know 3 words. And people say, why didn't you learn Romanian? I say, because I don't know English yet. When I know every single word in English, I'll learn Romanian because English makes me money. I don't need to learn Romanian. It doesn't make me any money.
Genuine question. Have you ever been media trained?
Never.
Never?
Never.
So the way you speak, the way you articulate yourself, just literally...
Practice.
Like that.
But it's not, in fact, correction. It's not practice. It's feedback. A lot of people practice things all the time and stay terrible. I had a guy say to me, in the war room, we actually do this training. I train the guys in the war room how to speak better. And that's one of the best things you can learn in life. And that's one of the reasons the war room is so valuable, because at the war room events, we do specific training for this particular task. And the guy was saying about how his business has improved, how much more money he makes, and how much better he is with girls, and et cetera, et cetera. And I was saying, yeah, okay, fine. But the reason I speak so well is not because I'm practiced, because this man was older than me. It's like, you've been speaking longer than I have.
Yeah.
It's not practice, it's feedback. If you don't analyze what you've done, then you're not going to identify your mistakes and where you can improve. I will watch this podcast back 10 times and I will realize all the times I stuttered, or all the times I had to repeat myself, or all the times I didn't use a word I was supposed to use. And that's why next time I do a podcast, it'll be better than even before. And that's also a lesson you can take and apply towards life. You can apply the feedback aspect towards life. Practice alone will not improve you. Practice is going to build habits. In fact, from fighting, I know this very well. If you allow a student to come and learn bad habits at the beginning, it's very hard to get out of them. This is why most people, when they talk on podcasts, are saying, I can't even listen to that shit. I'm like, you don't even speak English? Why are you sitting down? You don't speak English?
Why it's so hard to get your point across?
Well, if you can't get your point across compendiously and you can't articulate yourself in a concise manner, how do you expect other people to affiliate with your worldview? Or one of the superpowers of life is thinking something and making somebody else think the same.
Making someone else believe you.
Oh, sorry, police, lover boy. But sitting there and making somebody agree with you, or at least making them understand why you think how you think, is a superpower, surely.
Yeah.
And it's massively misunderstood and underrepresented and not used, and it's not practiced and it's not versed. And I think also, I'm actually kind of curious, I've thought about this myself, how useful it will be into the future when the AI comes along and controls us all. You know what my biggest fear of the machine minds are?
Go on.
My biggest fear is that people will be as smart as me. That'll piss me off. I like being smarter than everyone. I don't want a bunch of people to have Google brains that are smarter than mine. I'm supposed to be the smartest guy in the room. That's going to annoy me.
I don't think that'll be the case. I'll tell you why, because the way I see it is going down the conspiracy hole, yeah? It's like everyone will be trapped and they'll be fed the information that the Matrix want them to have.
I know, but what if they can get words from the dictionary as quick as I can? I had to work hard for that. Now they're just going to get a microchip. That's a cheat. I don't want that to happen. Hopefully it happens when I'm already gone. But yeah, being able to speak is a massively misunderstood superpower that a lot of people need to understand can drastically change their life. But you're only going to be able to do it if you apply feedback to it. And the same is with absolutely everything in your life. Not enough people look back on what they did and identify where they made a mistake. And some people will do it when they lose. But the true professionals do it when they win. When my dad was playing a chess game, if he won the game, he would still analyze the game and see if he could have lost, where it could have gone wrong, how he could have won faster, what mistakes he did make, what he did well, what he did wrong, win or lose. So many people will sit in a scenario where everything went wrong and go, in fact, correction, not so many people. I would say 75% of people will not ever self-analyze the situation they're in, they'll blame everyone else.
I do find it amazing that a lot of people can't speak well. I find that truly amazing. If you don't have the ability to project your thoughts to other people, I don't know how you're going to be successful in life. The reason I refuse to learn another language is because I haven't learned English yet. There's words I don't know. And English is the most profitable language for me to know. So I'm going to learn English. If I want to spend time learning a language, I'll read the English dictionary. I'm not going to learn another language and start stuttering like a dummy. But there are people who've been speaking English their entire life and they can't even speak it. It's actually a pet peeve of mine. You know when you said earlier about being rich allows you to say no? I'm going to be very honest. I am the worst person to pitch to. I get people trying to pitch me for business and I'm the worst. Because if you're a vegan, no. If you turn up in a Prius or a Tesla, no. No. I'm nothing against Tesla. Don't ban me, Elon. But if somebody cannot project their ideas to me succinctly, I instantly just dislike them because maybe I have ADHD, maybe I'm too busy, I don't know what it is, but I don't have time for your ums and ahs. I don't have time for it. So if I'm sitting in a meeting and somebody goes, we're gonna start with, and this is how people speak. You're a full-grown man and you can't finish a sentence without saying or ah in the only language you know. You've been speaking it for 40 years. It bothers me. It's a pet peeve of mine. It irks me. Occasionally we make mistakes, fine, whatever. But if you actually listened to most people speak, that's how most people communicate with the world. You wonder why you can't convince a girl to sleep with you? So, dummy! You're a dummy! No wonder you can't make any money! You're an idiot! This is people. They're in and on their way through life. It bothers me. When people come to pitch me, if they say or ah too much in the first sentence, it's over. I'm like, sorry, sir. When you learn to talk English, when you learn to speak, I might give you another chance. Goodbye. So you're right. The ability to project the thoughts inside of your mind in a way that other people can digest and is also entertaining is massively a superpower. How do you develop that superpower? It's not through practice. People think it's practice. Practice doesn't make perfect. The person who ums and ahs at 48 has been practicing his whole life. He's practiced just fine.
He's great at that.
He's great. Feedback is what's important. You have to analyze. I'll give you an example. When I was playing chess as a kid, I would play chess for 2 hours a day training under my father. 1 hour would be play, 1 hour would be going back through the games and analyzing the games. I always enjoyed playing, but I hated analyzing. But it was the analysis that made me better. And I can prove that now because when I was 8 or 9, I think my rating was around 1500. Now, I've been playing Blitz. I play 3-minute chess online for 20 years, ever since I was a child, and my rating is 1700. I've gotten no better in 20 years because I don't watch my games back. I don't analyze them. I don't look where I made mistakes. I just play. That's the problem. So when people speak, they just speak. They don't watch themselves back. I'm going to watch this podcast 10 times. I'm going to identify every single time I stuttered or made a mistake or didn't use the word I should have used. And then people are going to ask me, how do I speak the way I speak? Why do my podcasts get the most views? Because I'm a professional. If I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it properly. That's why. Most people will do a podcast and they'll just sit there and they'll just talk shit and then they'll finish it and they'll go on with their brokey day and be a brokey. But it's very interesting what you said about speech because that also ties back to my current predicament. This is the first time in my adult life I can't use my superpower because my superpower is talking. If you were to put me in front of someone and give me an hour to convince them that I could rip out their throat with my little finger, I guarantee by the end they'd be afraid. We both know I probably couldn't, but by the end, part of them would think, he's confident. I can't talk in court because I don't speak Romanian. It's very weird for me. I became acutely aware of my superpower because I'm going through this process and my lawyer's talking blah, blah. And I'm like, why am I so frustrated with all of this? And one day it dawned on me, I don't get to talk. When I get to talk, this is how much of a superpower speaking is. When I get to talk, it's fine. I could have talked the ocean out of freezing me to death on the Titanic. I could have literally said, listen, bro, my unmatched perspicacity, blah, I could have ran my mouth and I would have, it would have warmed up for me. I'm that guy. I can't talk now. So it's very frustrating. So it's interesting you say how it's a superpower. It certainly is because I've even realized it in this current predicament. I mean, how important it is to be able to speak. And the fact there are people going through the world today who want to be successful and want to have all these amazing things, and they only speak English, and they communicate in English, and they try and get other people to understand their ideas in English, and they can't speak English, born to lose. Born to lose.
How do they say you get practice? But that's a lie. And you know why it's a lie? Because everyone says I'm an amazing speaker, but we've all been speaking our whole lives. Most of you have been speaking, a lot of you have been speaking longer than me. So why am I better? What's the difference?
You watch yourself. You just study yourself.
I watch myself. Feedback. Study. If you don't study, you won't get better. I'll give you an example. I'm shit at chess, compared to my dad. I hover between 1600 ELO when I'm really mad, like an idiot, and 1800 ELO in blitz. I play 3-minute blitz games. I've been between 1600 and 1800 ELO for about 8 years, even though I play chess for about half an hour a day. I never get better. Why? Because I never analyze the games. When my dad would train me, we'd sit down and do the boring analysis. Why? What could you have done? It's the analyze, it's the feedback that makes you better. Why, as a fighter, if you just spar every day, will you never be good? Because you don't train. It's feedback that makes you good at things, not practice. You have to practice, then feedback, always. And communication is one of the most important things because it's something you do every single day, all of the time. If you're going to get good at one thing, you may as well get good at the thing you do most often. And you're all talking all the time. So you may as well get good at it. So you have to analyze yourself. That's the reason I said this and ah thing. To make it difficult for you, I understand it's nervous. I understand you're up here and you're talking in front of people and it's nerve-wracking. But you should be going through your life in general, catching yourself doing it and not allowing yourself to do it. Because that feedback, it won't take long. It'll take 3 months until you find a way to just stop saying it. And it's so unique that you don't realize how many people you're speaking to who do it until you stop. It's like saying, have you ever seen a red car and you drive down the road and every car's red? When I sit and listen to somebody, I'm literally listening to them thinking, fuck you know, you've been speaking your whole life. You're a dummy, right? Because I don't do it anymore. So it's a pet peeve of mine almost. But you have to self-analyze yourself all of the time. Don't allow yourself to get away with it when you're not in this environment. It sounds like a small thing, but I'm telling you, when you can compendiously, concisely explain your point of view, when you can do what I do, which is machine gun 5 points at once, especially in a debate, it's very hard to argue against me. If you give me a minute, I've made 5 points and linked it into 2 older points, and I've hinted at a future point. And now you have to counter that. And you're like, you're a misogynist. You can't argue with me. That's why the BBC got wrecked. So you have to be very good. If I was saying on my BBC interview, it would have been over. I could have said the same things with a couple ums and ahs, it would have been over. I'm the worst man in the world. So it's battle, it's war. So I want you to all become very, very good with your speech. Because it's an easy thing. It's not difficult. It's not fighting. You're not getting hit. Stop saying stop saying ah.
How do you structure it?
You need a pause to think. So what I will do is I will either literally take a pause and stop. And a lot of that is body language to allow yourself to be given the time to do that. Or the second thing I'll do if I make a mistake is I'll repeat myself. So I'll say something like, there's an example. So I'll say. That sounds better than going, so I'll say, and I know English isn't always your first language. I know for some of you people, I'm not as hard because English isn't your first language. I completely get that. It's also the reason I refuse to speak another language because I speak English so well that I don't want to degrade. If you want to speak to me, you speak to me in my language. It's my battlefield. I win. But English is the language of the world, so you may as well get very, very good at it. And it will translate to all of your personal relationships. Your arguments will become shorter. You'll make more money. Everything is from communication. That's why I have a stick, and that's why I have a pet peeve for ums and ahs. Because it's the easiest way to just improve your overall status. Because you also come across extremely confident when you don't use and ah. You look like you know exactly what you're talking about when you don't use and ah. If I say what's 2 plus 2 and you go 4, you look dumb. If I say what's 2 plus 2 and you go 4, you look smart. The makes you look like an idiot. So it's a pet peeve of mine. I just said it's twice. I just did it. So I'm self-analyzing myself all the time to make sure I don't do that. So that's why I've said it before this, to make it hard for all of you when you stand up here and you're nervous and you start going up. But in general life, try not to do it because you'll see your life improve. You'll see your interactions with people improve in real time. You'll know it.
Mindset is your key to everything. Absolutely everything. Join the top G's on Patreon.